Alright, welcome back for another replay cast, playing as a Skaven again. This time we're coming in with Throt the Unclean as our lord. He's on foot, so no Brood Horror mount. I've got 3 squads of Death Runners, Eshin Triads on the flanks, Council Guard, which is a Storm Vermin Halberds Regiments of Renown in the middle, guarding Throt, Plague Monks, and that'll be it to start. For my opponent, they are the High Elves. They've got Tyrion, they've got Spearmen, Sisters of Avalorn, the Talons of Torquelada, Mage of Life, Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, and Arcane Phoenix. And nothing on the flank, so let's speed this up for the approach. So you can see by my infantry heavy build, I'm going for point 2 to start. See the Arcane Phoenix going in for a bombardment. Jumping on top of my Death Runners. You see I try to get out of the way there. He took a pretty good chunk of health off of these guys. See how much damage he did actually. 237 value, so not bad. He's got some Spearmen there. And right now I'm just trying to get a feel for what his build looks like. And I don't want to overcommit in anything, because if I chase him out of the woods, he's just going to shoot me down. He's got a squad of Rangers coming in, actually 2 squads of Rangers. I'm not sure if he started with those or if those were summon-ins. I'm assuming he brought them in because of the amount of supplies that he has right now. No action on the flanks for the time being. I did end up bringing my Plague Monks back as opposed to pursuing the Spearmen out. And he's just flying his Arcane Phoenix around scouting. It's a little interesting interaction with the flight height and this object in the middle. So I got point 2. I'm going to start getting some victory points. See, I've got some Eshin Triads coming out on point 1. Eshin Sorcerer going towards point 2 to support there. And I'm just letting them shoot at these Plague Monks. I'm not too worried about the Sisters of Avalorn and the Talons of Torquelada using their ammunition on this troop, especially while I'm in the woods. See a squad of Rangers coming in with their Phoenix. Another squad of Rangers going off to point 3 to capture that. Nothing going to point 1 for them. And I've got nothing going towards point 3 at the moment. Still just holding my ground, seeing what he's going to do, letting them shoot and kind of waste ammunition. Got a Plague Claw Catapult coming out to shoot at the Rangers. And I'm watching this Arcane Phoenix. Just waiting, because you can see I still got some supplies in my back pocket. So I'm just seeing what he's going to do with that. Brought in a squad of Eshin Triads, and they're going to jump on top of this guy, start getting some damage done. Anti-large, armor piercing. They also dropped the armor. Not that this guy's got a ton. He's only got 50, now 25 because of the debuff from Weeping Blade. So I'm going to move the Plague Claw crew forward, try to get them away from him and let the Eshin Triads deal with him. Plague Monks engaged with the Spearmen now on the middle of point 2. He's got some Rangers coming over here to jump on top of my Eshin Triads on point 1. He's also bringing some Illyrian Reaver Archers, so putting his mobility to work. Throt's moving into support. He's got another squad of Spearmen on the way. 2 squads at the ready. Tyrion's kind of sitting in the backfield with his Mage. Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower shooting in. You can see they're using the split shot, which is going to be more effective against infantry. If you're not familiar with this unit, you can switch between 2 different types of ammunition. One is better for infantry. It's kind of got a shotgun effect or a scatter shot effect. Another one has larger bolts, and that's going to be your anti-large variant. So Eshin Triads, very low armor, so using Illyrian Reavers against these guys is a pretty good look for him. The Rangers will do well against them as well. I originally brought these guys over here in case they try to do any kind of cavalry play, which they have here, but these are mounted archers, so I can't chase them down because of the speed differential, so kind of just sitting on the point, trying to keep some capture weight on there. Plague Claw Catapult's doing some work on these Rangers, shooting in from the backfield. The Arcane Phoenix has been pushed away. It looks like he might have joined the battle over here. So he jumped on top of Throt, and I did not see Tyrion coming in. So this is one of the interesting things with this match, or this map. When you're playing on Grove of Slaughter, sometimes your opponent will be sending troops to the woods, and if you didn't pay attention to what they had out on the open area, sometimes they'll sneak up on you. So I did not see Tyrion coming through. He was able to jump on top of Throt. Tyrion is a much better duelist than Throt is. And so with the help of the Phoenix as well, he was able to push him off. So Throt's pretty beat up. I do have a squad of, I believe, Death Runners. Or no, I brought Wolf Rats over here. So Wolf Rat's coming over to jump on top of the Rangers and get capture weight on point 3. He's still got his archers sitting on the outskirts at this point. Lion Chariots of Krace, so these guys are armor-piercing, anti-infantry, charging into the woods, getting on top of my Plague Monks. I don't have a really good answer for these guys right here. I do have the Eshin Triads sitting off on both back flanks. The Council Guard are fighting over here as well. Another squad of Eshin Triads going over to disrupt their shooting. And they're about to take a lot of missile fire. I'm not sure if this was a good play here, sending these guys out to disrupt the shooting. It might not have been worth sending them out of the wooded area. I could have probably just let them fight me or shoot into here at me. But Throt going down there, they were able to chase him down with Tyrion and with the Arcane Phoenix. Let's see, is Tyrion on a mount? Yeah, so Tyrion's on a mount, and the Phoenix is like just a big flying monster. So Throt was unable to get away. I couldn't issue orders for him to try to dodge or anything, or move towards specific units because of him being fleeing. I probably could have moved my Eshin Triads a little differently. I had a squad back here and moved some other troops and tried to position them in a way that they could screen off Tyrion and the Arcane Phoenix as they chase Throt, but either way I lost him. Wolf Rats chasing off their Rangers on point 3, so I'm getting the capture weight there. Point 2 I'm still holding on to. You see White Lions of Krace getting dealt with by the Plague Monks. Another squad of Plague Monks dealing with the Spearmen. Another squad of Eshin Triads running out to just act as a screening force over here on the side of the woods. This has kind of been their main entry point. Caster of Life and the Arcane Phoenix are fighting over here, dealing with my Eshin Triads. I got another squad of Death Runners coming in and reinforcements. And another squad of Eshin Triads running off to point 3. So now I'm moving my Plague Claw catapults. And you can see I'm going to try to get them over into this area so I can shoot down at these archers. I realized that having these guys on the field just for the Rangers was probably a waste. So I wanted to reposition them and make sure I got some value out of them. Also got Doom Flayers coming, looking to get them on top of the White Lions of Krace as they're coming to support on point 3. My Wolf Rats have been getting chased off. Death Runners coming over here, looking to chase down these guys and keep them away from the Plague Claw catapult. Eshin Triads coming as well to do that as well. You can see the Council Guard are doing all right against Tyrion. This is probably not a situation he wants to be in, especially while he's on a mount. If he was not on a mount, this would probably be a decent trade for him because he'd be fighting infantry and just putting his armor piercing. And I believe he has a decent cleave attack to work against these guys. But either way, he's getting dealt with pretty badly. And I'm not sure if my opponent was trying to spam right click. I'm assuming he wouldn't because I think he has enough mass that he'd be able to get out of this. So he's got 1,800. Yeah, so he should be able to push his way out of this, but it just might be a lapse of micro on my opponent's part. Plague Monk's still over here doing some pretty good work, helping out the Eshin Triads on point 2. Eshin Triads really just trying to get rid of these Lion Chariots of Krace. So these guys were causing a lot of problems for me in the middle. Let's see how much value they've got. So they got 580 value. They still got a pretty good amount of health. Got the Illyrian Reaver archers pushed off. Death Runners coming in to flank the White Lions of Krace. That's going to be a good deal. Anti-infantry armor piercing is always going to be good against White Lions. Plague Claw catapults shooting in against them as well. You can see the contaminated leadership debuff helped to crack them. And now my opponent is using the Illyrian Reaver archers and their speed to jump on top of the Plague Claw catapults. So that's always going to be a good move for him. Using Illyrian Reaver archers for stuff like that can be really helpful because they actually have decent melee combat stats. So Rat Ogre's coming in to support Throt. I resummon him and try to get rid of these this Arcane Phoenix and Tyrion, who have now jumped on top of Throt. So Rat Ogres are pretty good at this. You know, they deal well with single entities. They've got good armor piercing value, good weapon strength, and I'm not sure if this anti-large is a buff that they're getting from Throt. Yeah, because he's the activated creature killer, so that's part of the reason they're able to contribute as much as they were there. I popped that because of the Arcane Phoenix and Tyrion being on a mount. You can see my opponent is taking point 1, so I'm ahead on victory points, but he does have 1 point right now. Looks like I have the other 2 pretty handily under control. I don't have too many troops left on point 2, but he doesn't have too many threats around here. The chariots aren't going to do too much. Rangers coming in will get some capture weight on there, but his archers are doing all right on ammunition. Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is pretty low. Probably going to be in unsummoning range pretty shortly. Tyrion's pretty low. Throt is on the move, trying to support on point 3. You can see my opponent's got the capture weight movement in their favor. And what is that? So my Death Runners are getting chased off. So more reinforcements on the way. Eshin Triad, Wolf Rats, Doom Flares, all coming to reinforce. Council Guard are on the way as well. You see Tyrion was able to eventually get away from them. I'm not sure if he had some... I guess he was popping a heal on Tyrion with his Mage of Life. But now, look at this. I mean, the Council Guard just got eviscerated by these archers. Sisters of Avalorn and Towns of Torquelada, all 23 missile damage on each of them. These guys are also doing... Okay, so interesting. So I didn't realize that the Towns of Torquelada activate Flammable on their targets, because Sisters of Avalorn have flaming ammunition. So that's a pretty good combination. That's something I had not noticed when I was playing around with the High Elves. I think there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of complexities and depth that you can get into on some of these factions by playing as them a lot. I'm kind of just doing like, maybe 15 matches or so of each race, maybe more like 10 or 15, just to get a couple games worth recording and doing a replay cast up when they're closer or more interesting matches. So I don't get to play around too much with the rosters, but my goal right now is just to get a general idea of how each of the factions work, and then I'll play around more in depth with some of them later. So Throt doing all right against Tyrion. He's not going to trade well here, but I do have the support of some Doom Flayers, so their mass just getting in the way and taking some shots away from Throt is going to be helpful. Looks like he's trying to avoid that fight. A little bit of a whiff with Sunfang. I was able to get the Eshin Triads out of the way. I don't even think I did that on purpose. It might have just been them chasing after the Dragon Princes. Got some real heavy cavalry over there. And now you see his force moving over onto point 3. So my opponent has now captured point 2 with his Rangers. He was able to push me off. He's got point 1. Not able to wrestle it away from him yet with these Death Runners. Another squad coming of Death Runners to deal with the Rangers. I'm actually not sure who that's a good trade for. I would say overall it's probably a better trade for the Rangers because of the value that they cost compared to Death Runners, and the fact that they're not losing value on the armor piercing damage where the Death Runners are. And what I mean by that is Death Runners have some of their value is held up in having armor piercing damage, and Rangers already don't really have much armor, so having armor piercing damage against them isn't really a big help. And the Rangers' weapon strength is all just put into normal, so that's part of the reason they're cheaper. I want to say Rangers are probably 600, Death Runners are probably around 850. So Doom Flayers back here, just getting in the way. They're going to get shot down by a lot of these range units. So you see they still got Sisters of Avalorn, Towns of Torquelada. They got Illyrian Reaver archers. Spearmen over here holding up against the Council Guard, who got just punished by the archer fire. Doom Flayers are just about to be off the field. Throt, I moved out of the way to try to make sure that he didn't get run down. I realized that point 3 was not going to be a good fight. Once I saw everything collapsing in on here, I was trying to get out of there and kind of just reevaluate where I can move. So now you can see refocusing, going towards points 1 and 2. The Death Runners are able to deal with the Rangers over here. Got a squad of Wolf Rats coming as well. They're going to be trying to jump on top of the Illyrian Reaver archers and alleviate some of the fire that the Death Runners are taking from them. So let's see, Arcane Phoenix on the way to support. My opponent's been doing a pretty good job keeping this guy alive, getting his bombars off and whatnot, just using him as a support piece where he's needed. So again, Spearman on the way, resummon of the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, so they got full ammunition. He is firing in on my Plague Monks, which might not be the best use, but he really doesn't have too many targets at this point in the match. He's still got a good capture weight on point 2. My Warplock Jezzails are going to get shut down by the Illyrian Reaver archers. Again, this is a misplay on my part. When you're bringing on high value shooting tools like this, you really got to make sure that you have some kind of screening piece to protect them, because I'm just wasting value here. And again, this is what I was saying with the Illyrian Reaver archers. My opponent's doing a good job of using these guys, and they're good melee combat stats to just run in and disrupt shooting that I don't have protected. I have recaptured point 1. Point 2, we're kind of contesting. Plague Monks are going to do alright against White Lions. The Plague Monks are also going to do well against the Rangers, even better against Rangers. They've got some Sword Masters of Hosts, some elite infantry coming on here that's going to be tough for me to deal with. Tyrion's on the way to support as well. Point 3 is a lost cause, so definitely staying away from there. You can see my opponent's a little bit ahead in gold value, although he's probably even further ahead than it looks right now because of the healing from his Mage of Life. So Death Runner is getting chased off by the Arcane Phoenix. This guy does have Causes Terror, so that's going to be really good for fighting against the Skaven. Having units that debuff leadership is really good when you're facing against a faction that has generally low leadership troops. So I think the Greenskins have a lot of low leadership troops. I think the Skaven do. I'm not too sure about some of the other factions, but you can see I was able to finally push the Illyrian Reaver archers off of the Warplock Jezzails. So I am getting some shots onto the Arcane Phoenix with them. But capture weight still going my opponent's way. And at this point, this game's over. I'm not going to be able to get the capture weight on enough of these points to take this game back. Point 3, really, we're entering triple capture zone. And point 3, he just has so fortified, it wasn't going to happen. So I conceded there. So well played of my opponent. Let's take a look at the damage values here. So not too much on Throt. Council Guard did decent. Death Runners all did alright. Some of them were resummoned, so maybe not too great. Eshin Triads were alright. Plague Monks did decent. Warplock Jezzails didn't really get too much time to shine. Plague Catapult got shut down by the, the Arcane Phoenix. And the Wolf Rats did okay. They did pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good for how much they cost. I want to say they cost $550 or so. Tyrion put in a lot of work, almost 3,000. Wow, the Arcane Phoenix got 3,100 basically. Sisters of Avalorn did alright. This mage probably did way better. I wish you could get. I wish they had some way to calculate support value, like healing. So like if you heal 50% of a unit that costs 1,000, then you get like 500 points worth of support value or something like that. If your buffs are increasing the damage output of troops, I wish there was a way for them to calculate that, because it would be really interesting to see the game impact of some of these support units. Even from things like an aura, you know what I mean? One of these like augment abilities, that would be a very cool feature to add. But regardless, just gonna keep scrolling through and looking at the value on these guys. Nothing too crazy on a lot of the infantry. The Reaver Archers did pretty well, which I expected. The Arcane Phoenix really shined. 3,000 value on him and on Tyrion as well. So these were definitely the MVPs for them. Well played to my opponent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.